Hey, Martyr.
Oh my God, hi.
Listeners want to know what's going on with your love life.
Oh my God, don't get me started. These apps have me going crazy. I'm on there for hours, but I can't seem to find a date.
Have you heard of Motto? Motto is the new no nonsense hookup app for gay and queer people.
Hookup apps have become a staple in queer culture, but they also come with the bullshit. Headless torsos, blank profiles, catfish after catfish, and I feel like I'm always scrolling the grid.
Well, on Motto, every profile is verified by a real human, and every photo has a face.
Ooh,
Motto sends you daily matches of people who match your interests and kinks. There are no fees, no ads, and no nonsense.
I love that. Sounds like my kind of app.
Get Motto today by going to the link in this episode's description or use invite code ZVOGS when signing up. That's ZVOGS when signing up.
Ooh, I think I will. Motto, gay and queer hookups without the nonsense.
Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I know, wig. I feel that already. Wig, okay. Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I am ready for my wig to go flying.
Oh, hi kids.
Hello,
I'm Martyr,
I'm C. Teffer.
and this is Wigging Out. Baby, I'm from Florida. It's always summer.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's currently summer right now for me. This little too
Oh, I
warm.
guess then like start of hurricane season.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Miss the hurricane parties. Don't miss the people.
Who do we
Anyway.
have today? I'm
Um,
gonna keep making you introduce
oh
all
my
our guests.
God. Oh my God. I hate you. Our lovely guest today is the one and only Ryan Rude Polaroids. Um, I do know your last name, but I
How do
don't know
you
how to pronounce
pronounce it?
that.
It's Rudowitz.
Rudewitz. Oh, like rude Polaroids. Oh my God, branding.
Crazy.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this.
Solved it.
Oh my God, branding. Love that. How are you, my love?
I am doing well.
Good.
Yeah,
Good to
we're
hear.
we're managing.
I think that's
We're
correct.
keeping it together.
Yeah,
Barely keeping it
for the most
together.
part. Some days.
I know. I'm right there with you, babe.
Yeah, are y'all?
I'm not a Monday girl.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, honestly, my week starts on Wednesday and usually ends on Thursday.
Mondays are my weekends, so I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was up till 7:30 last night, so 7:30
Last in the morning.
this morning.
Morning.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, 7:30
Like
last
that's
night.
a good time to go to sleep.
I
Wow.
know.
Mhm,
You're taking care of yourself.
mhm, mhm.
Arrested queen.
A rested queen, well rested, absolutely. Um. Anyways, let's get into talking about you, my love. So where are you from originally?
Yeah, I grew up on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Oh my God.
People live there full time.
Crazy. It was just me. No, yeah,
Um.
it's a wild place.
I also grew up there for like a couple years. I'm not
Oh my
joking.
God.
I like baby, like maybe like 3 to 5.
Whoa, where?
We were on a base. My dad was in the military.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I couldn't tell
Hey.
you. Couldn't tell you. Yeah, but I did live there. Anyways.
Wow, that's
Um.
crazy.
Wow, we're learning more
Yeah.
about you. I
Uh,
didn't know that either.
How was it growing up on the Cape? The Cape. The
Um,
Cape.
yeah,
The
I
top.
mean, I love it. I could see myself like retiring there. It was very like after Labor Day, Columbus Day, everything kind of shuts down and there's not much to do. And there's like one restaurant in each town, and you can always get clam chowder, don't worry. But yeah, we just like sat in each other's cars in beach parking lots a lot and in the winter. But also like I love going to the beach in the winter when it's really windy and it's like just cool to do. But I love it.
Did you go
Um,
to Provincetown a lot?
Yeah. So where I grew up, I in Yarmouth. It's like 45 minutes from P-Town. But my high school was like 20-ish minutes from P-Town. My uncle also lived in P-Town for a while. But yeah, we would go, like, especially in the summer, that was like the city. Because there's like more stuff to do, and you could get like fried dough, and so you
Oh
go on
my
like a little day trip. Yeah. So I always kind of like knew what a drag queen was, because I just
Mm,
always at least saw one when I was little. But
that's funny.
Sounds traumatizing.
well, look where I am now.
Trauma building.
Trauma building.
Yeah.
What brought you to New York?
I moved after college, like right after. I unfortunately went to theater school, and
Which
I
one?
I went to University of Connecticut,
Okay.
New England, yeah, which was like great fine. I moved right after because I had an internship doing like house seats and ticketing for Harry Potter, and that summer worked and then got like my first job and stayed since 2018.
So you moved to New York, you were doing the ticketing, but you still work in theater. What do you do?
Yeah, so I still work in ticketing. It's called Ambassador Theater Group, and we own like a few theaters in New York, the King's Theater in Brooklyn, and then
Oh,
venues like in Texas, San Francisco, Detroit. And it's like a UK based company as well, but I do central ticketing for them.
do you get free shows?
Once in a while.
Okay. I'm like,
Like
can you hook us up?
our like Broadway shows, yes. The King shows, it depends. Usually like
Mm,
what, like who it like Jinx is coming this summer, and I'm like, okay, so can I
yeah.
Can I go?
so we'll see. But I just started there in end of November, beginning of December.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So it's still fairly new.
Yeah. King's Theater is like a weirdo place. I used to live around the corner, but
Oh yeah.
It's a weird neighborhood.
that's a weird neighborhood. I love that neighborhood, but it's a weird neighborhood.
It's a weird neighborhood.
Yeah.
Do you all right, so okay, you went to school for theater. You work in theater.
Yeah.
I'm
I
I didn't peg you.
developed that.
I didn't peg you as a theater girl, but here we are.
Honestly, that's the nicest thing you could ever say to me.
Do you have any favorite productions or shows?
um, see, I'm not like, yeah, like trying to
Or
think.
shows? Yeah.
Yeah. A few years, like right before COVID, there was What the Constitution Means to Me, and I
Mm.
saw it like 4 times. I loved it.
Um,
Um, yeah, stuff like that. I love. I usually like plays more than musicals. I'm not a big musical
Interesting.
girly.
Okay.
I love to see it. I'll go. Give me like a margarita before all the time in my life. But usually I would rather go see a play.
I like plays
Yeah.
and musicals equally, so I totally get it.
Yeah.
I feel like not enough people appreciate plays.
I've mostly seen plays here since I moved here.
Mm.
I've only seen one musical since I moved here.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna
Wow.
keep it that way. It was Little Shop of Horrors, which is my favorite.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I
You're
still
like nothing could
yeah.
compare.
I need to go see it. My best friend works on it, and I just still haven't seen it. I need to.
I know someone who I used to work with who now works there too. That's
Oh,
funny.
shit.
oh, huh,
Probably the same person.
probably. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
I mean, I would like before working at ATG, where I am now, I was with Hamilton for 4 years doing like ticketing.
Oh my god, that must have been insane.
That was, yeah, like I loved everybody there. They were awesome, and yeah, like the show's good. And we had like a few other shows in the office. Honestly, my fave was the Cher show.
Yes.
Which I saw 4 times because they needed people to go.
I would have gone.
So like if a celeb was coming, they would like ask the office, like, do you guys know anyone that wants to go? And I would be like, I'll go.
Oh my God.
I'd get like 3 margaritas and have the time of my life.
Honest, you're living my dream right now.
Yeah, I know.
Getting
You're
drunk
living
and
my
going to
dream
show.
too.
Oh, okay. So from theater to photography, how did that come about?
Yeah. So like I always was interested in photography. I always had a camera when I was little, and in like middle, high school, I would take like I always took all my friends' headshots and all of that for like high school and college. And then like family reunions, I feel like my parents would be like, Ryan, like you have a camera, like take the photo, and I'd be like, okay. But it really wasn't until I got my first Polaroid camera in college. I was abroad and it was just like a market and it was $15. So I was like, okay, if it doesn't work, it'll be like a decoration. But it ended up working, and I would just like bring it to parties and I don't know, dumb hangs and stuff and take photos. And then I did that even like when I moved here, and it really wasn't, I didn't really get like fully into it more until COVID, because I was furloughed and bored out of my mind. Yeah. And so then I would just like, I started taking it on my little walks outside, and I was like, okay, take like a photo a day or just do something with it. So I started getting better at it, and then I learned more about it, and I was finding cameras. Facebook Marketplace was great, or even like Instagram. I was finding all these like instant photographers and Polaroid photographers, and just learning new tricks and stuff. And yeah,
The monster was born.
and then like when we could see each other again. So during COVID, in my lease ended like June of 2020, and I was supposed to move, but since I was furloughed and didn't know what was happening, I moved back home to the Cape from like July of 2020 until March of 2021. So March 2021, I moved back to New York, but that time being home was, I mean, it was really nice because I was outside and I was taking photos, and Cape Cod is beautiful to do that. But once I moved back to the city, I was so sick of taking like Polaroids of plants and the ocean or like myself that I was like, oh my God, I can see people. And it was just right when we were like getting vaccinated, that I like would message people, even if we had never met before, but it's like we've followed each other on Instagram for years. And I just started messaging, and I was like, hey, I know like we've never actually met, but like if you want, I would love to like meet in the park. We can keep distance, whatever, but we can go for a walk, and I would love to just like take your portrait and practice. And I found everyone was like, no one really said no, because I feel like all of us needed attention and like wanted to see people. So that was really great. And then that's how I sort of got into nightlife, because then I started bringing it to drag shows.
So what was that like with once you started bringing it to drag shows? Because I've never seen a Polaroid photographer at a drag show before you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was friendly with Kiki Ball Change through like Insta and everything, and then her show with Castrata at Pieces, Two Stupid Queens. My roommate and I would just started going on Tuesdays. Like I feel like it was like June of 21, and I like had my camera, but I was like scared to take pictures during the show, because I was like, if the flash goes off, like I don't want to draw attention, I don't want to like hurt their eye, I don't know. And so I would just like see them after the show while we were like smoking or whatever, and I'd take a portrait, and it was great. And then I just started going like weekly, and I forget if it was Kiki or Castrata, but after the show one night when I was taking their photo, she was like, you know you can take like pictures during the show. I was like, oh, like, yes, I just don't want to. And she was like, we see you like literally like wanting to take the picture, but you're not. So just take the picture, which was great. And so then I just really started doing that. And from there, I just like wanted to see as much drag as possible. So I was living in Harlem at the time. So most of the shows I was going to was like Hell's Kitchen, West Village, Manhattan. And yeah, I just started going to more shows and meeting more performers and taking like a picture during the show and then like a portrait after.
How did you decide on the moniker Rude Polaroids?
Yes. That was kind of like before, when I was still home during like COVID of it all. When I started getting more serious with it, and I was talking with so many Polaroid photographers on Instagram, and we would like share tips and tricks and stuff. And then I was just like thinking about if this could be something. I don't want to be just like Ryan Rudowitz. I don't know. My brother is the one that sort of inspired it in a way. He has a business with his wife in North Carolina. They make cocktail bitters, and they have like a cocktail supply shop. It's super cute. And his name is Craig Rudowitz, but his company is called Crude. So C Rude. And that's where I was like, well, my name starts with an R. So what if I just take Rude? And all of my siblings growing up went by the nickname Rudy, like in sports and stuff. And I don't know why I never did. Like my sister and brother, some of my brother's friends like still call him Rudy. I just never had that. So I was like, okay, I'll just be Rude. Like, let's take that. And yeah, I then just like, I think I changed my Insta handle one day, and a few people were like, oh, I like it. I was like, okay, we're going with it.
It works. I mean, we talked at the top of the show, branding, but I also like, I don't know, it's a good like describer of the work, I think.
Yeah, like yeah. Some of the stuff is like
we'll get into it.
Well, I feel like it was so convenient.
No, yeah, well, yeah. I guess thanks, Dad, for the last.
Right?
Yeah. So you mentioned Kiki, or getting started with Kiki. Do you have other like go-to parties that you like always photograph at?
Yeah, well, I guess now I like in the new year, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try not going out as much as I was before. One, money, two, I need sleep. But yeah, I mean, now that I moved to Brooklyn a year ago. And thank you. I love it. And so that was like a new venture, because I was like, okay, it's not that I didn't want to come to the shows when I lived in Harlem. I was like, that's so fucking far.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
So I feel like the first time I went to Come On Everybody was Lady Gaga. It was a Born This Way, Cheeky's show. In like December of 2021 or so. And that was like my first time there. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love it here. And once I moved, now that's like the closest bar to me and Good Judy. So I could now like go out there more. But as for parties, I go to and photograph the Her party a lot, Luis Fernando, which is always fun and always a good time. And now when I'm out, like I'll either have my Polaroid, or I also shoot like 35 millimeter, just point and shoot. And that's so much easier to carry because I can fit in my pocket. So there are nights where I'm like, do I take the Polaroid? Do I take like which one? Yeah, I was, when Lady Liberty was happening, I was there like every Thursday to snap all the performers, because that was fun with Britta, because I always knew there was like one Rue girl co-hosting, but then it was a chance for me to meet all of these new and up and coming performers, which now are like some of my best friends. And watching them compete was always fun. And like, there were some I'm rooting for, but like trying not to show my bias. So I'm like, I'm taking their like photos of everyone, but I'm like, I hope you win. All right. Yeah. Now it's kind of transition because I'll host as well.
Mm-hmm.
So any party that like I'm hosting, I'll always have my camera. And so like at the Rosemont a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nothing good happens.
No, of course not.
I live down the street and
Mm-hmm.
I'm there too frequently. It's for
Yep.
my liking.
Has anyone inspired you when it comes to documenting nightlife?
Yeah. A big one for me is Linda Simpson. Her Drag Explosion book, when I discovered her in that book, it was like August or September of 2021 when I was like just kind of starting out and getting into the scene. I went to one of her readings at a museum, Fotografiska, and it was so cool. And just her talking about it, and it was her and Lady Bunny.
We were there.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were there.
Oh, okay.
I think we briefly.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, I think we briefly chatted.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get to stay too long, but
yeah.
it was so cool.
I loved it. And just hearing it, like even she was like, I didn't mean like I was taking photos, but I wasn't thinking I was like documenting this for later. Like I was just taking photos of my friends, which is kind of what like I started in college and stuff. But and then another inspiration, I guess, was my uncle, and he lived in P-Town for a while. He passed away in October of 2020. And so when I was going through his things with my mom found like a Polaroid bag, and she was like, oh, what is this? And we opened it, and it was a Polaroid camera, which I have over on my shelf here. And then I just discovered like hundreds of Polaroids that he took. And like some of them are just, like dumb parties with friends. A lot of them are when he lived in P-Town those summers. And just like, I have them now like hanging up, and they always make me emotional because looking at them, a lot of them he's not in, but he always wrote notes on the back of like the names, the date, the place. So I was able then to post them. I was like, I went on Facebook, crazy. And there was like a Provincetown in the 90s group, and I just like explained who I was. I'm like Jerry O'Neill's nephew. These are Polaroids I found that he took in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like just some of them I love them. I would love to get them into the hands of these people that are in it. And just the stories that came out of that was amazing. And a lot of them are like, they're bittersweet because some of the people in these photos have passed away. Some are still here with us, but it was just really beautiful to see. And I wish I knew he took these when he was alive and we could share that now, but it's really nice in a way that we have that to share, I guess, or I'll always have that part of him. And one thing that was really special was it's like my favorite Polaroid of him, and he's in drag. And on the back it says P-Town, like Townie Drag Brunch, summer 1998. So I was like, what is this like Townie Drag Brunch? Like I need to know more about this. And there was other photos. And so when I was in P-Town, I started asking around, and they were like, oh yeah, like that still happens. It's it's the second to last week of August. It's the Thursday, like after Carnival. And everyone that lives there that summer, and also that has done it before, you get into drag, you go to Boobala's for like brunch, and we all sit outside and we like take over the patio, and then we walk down Commercial Street to tea dance. And so I was like, okay, I literally need to be there just to take my own Polaroids of that because I have my uncle's. And so last summer was the first summer I did it, and it was like amazing. And I brought two of the Polaroids that he took with me. And I met people and they were like, oh my God, you're Jerry's nephew. Like, we've been doing this since like the early 90s. We loved him. That's amazing. And then the guy he was in the photo with, he was like, oh my God, that's Matthew. Like, let me text him that photo so he can see it. And it was just, I was bawling. Like, it was so special. How did we get? Oh yeah, that's inspiration.
That's so nice.
Yeah, that was like so sweet. I'm tearing up a little bit.
I know, me too.
I'm like, okay. Well, we're gonna take our first break after that.
we need to wipe our eyes.
My mascara's running. We'll be right back.
Wig, did you just say wig?
Bye.
Oh my God.
Wig, okay. I know, wig. I feel that already. Wig, okay. Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I am ready for my wig to go flying.
And we're back.
Woo.
Ooh, I have wiped away my tears. No tears left to cry. Thank you, Ariana Grande. Where should we start with this one? So back in January,
Okay.
you won Best Nightlife Photographer at the Glam Awards.
Yay, a winner.
A winner.
We're not used to that here.
Yeah. True. How was that both experience winning, being nominated, all the feelings? Tell us everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a crazy, amazing night. Yeah, it was wild. Like, I was very surprised and already tipsy. And like so honored just to be nominated. That was my second year going in and being nominated. The first year I went, it was so like, I just was like, oh my God, this is an amazing event. Just everyone is here. But I'm also like, so who's working right now? Like, what's going on? But yeah, this past January, like, I asked, I really was not expecting to win, but I had an idea like in December-ish of I wanted to like wear something fun this year. And so I had this idea and I asked 10 Yards, Sam, because I have no clue how to make anything. But I was like, I want to wear my Polaroids, but I don't want to, because I've seen like Polaroid dresses and shirts and stuff, but usually the Polaroid is like hooked and I didn't want to ruin any of the photos or poke a hole in them. So I was like, what if I just wore it like pockets? Like, can you just make a jacket, like a plastic jacket? And he was like, oh yeah, that's easy. I was like, okay. And I was like, can you put like Rude on the back? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. So he made me this amazing jacket. I love it. And I was like, I'm literally gonna wear like all the people I love on this jacket and it's gonna be a great time. And sat with my friends. It was cool, fine, great. And literally everyone that's nominated for Nightlife Photographer is incredible. And like, I just would be happy if any of them won, because we're all doing the same thing and we're not like, I'm not competing with any of them because we all do very different things and take our own photos and videos. So it's just very special. But yeah, I won and I was like, what? So Michael, my best friend, was like, go, like, you have to go up there. Yeah, I was just like blown away and very honored, and it felt really nice to be in that room and to just be recognized for what I was doing. Yeah.
Your speech was one of my favorites of the night. I feel like it was like so like genuine, you know?
That I look back and I was like, what are you saying?
I loved it. Because I feel like people don't really get excited, like especially like the performers who get nominated. They're so used to being on stage. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they feel like they're a little bit like too good for it. Not everybody, but like sometimes you get that impression. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to see someone like genuinely excited to like be there.
I just like that. And then of course going after, I was like, oh my God, I didn't like say anything about like AJ or Anthony or like Captain Wonder, whoever. And yeah, but It was
They're
It's your
losers.
moment.
They're losers.
um, yeah, it was awesome.
Also, that jacket was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like trying to find another time to wear it, but I feel like it's obnoxious.
No, it's
Baby, you work with drag queens. You're fine.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like the least obnoxious thing you're gonna be surrounded by.
You're fine. Well, honestly, start running it into the budget of like when you get booked. Be like, I need a coat fee.
Yeah, it did make it really helpful throughout the night because of course I had my cameras. But I could take a Polaroid and immediately usually I like carry it around the box and like have to put it face down on the table or something. This I was like, oh my God, this is so easy.
Absolutely. Another big project this year was the paper magazine photo shoot.
Yeah.
How was that for you? And how was it taking pictures of 70 drag queens in a couple hours?
That it was awesome. When Miss Lady asked me to be a part of it, I was like, oh my God, of course. What do you need? I can do it. She was like, I think we're like our original idea was we'll take some pictures of like however many and we'll use the Polaroids to spell out NYC. And I was like, okay, that's like easy. And so I used the Polaroids I had in my apartment to just see like how many I would need. And I was like, okay, I'll need to take like at least 30, 40 Polaroids. So couldn't you like, I will take anyone's picture. Can you set up that? And so she was like, yeah, I will plan it. Like, I think we'll just do it at Hardware. I have my show that night. Because the best thing about Polaroid is like the background doesn't really matter. I put up a white cloth and a black cloth and it was like one or the other. And yeah, it was just portraits. So very easy setup, not a big deal. So she was like, what about this coming Sunday? Like from 9 to 11, does that work? And I was like, yep, perfect, as long as people show up, and it'll take truly like 2 seconds. And so she got like 80 performers to come, and I was like, there's gonna be a line out of Hardware right now just to take a Polaroid, which I'm like, slay. But it was so fun. There were so many people that I met for the first time or like we followed, and I was like, oh my God, so nice to finally meet you in person. But it was so fun, and I think it just really captured drag, like New York City drag, and doing the total number was like 73, I think.
Work.
Yeah, and
too many. All American.
The thing is, like, that's only like a small percentage of like how many people are actually working in nightlife right now. So.
Right. Yeah.
Which is crazy. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I was honored to be a part of it. And then I took those Polaroids, and my friend Nico and I spelled out NYC like in the subway station by us. And that took it took us like an hour and a half to like,
oh my goodness,
tape them to the subway wall and like all that. But
they really turned out great. And also the subway photo shoot also did. And thank you for taking my photo and making me look ghostly as ever.
I mean, that's the thing I say is like, y'all do 75% of the work and I click the button because that's honestly why I got into nightlife, because everyone looks amazing and it tells a story and it's like nothing I've seen before, and it just captures so well on Polaroid.
I love that shoot. I think it's one of my favorites so far.
Mm-hmm.
They'll all be released by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
But
there's so many, which is also amazing. And just all the different creatives that have worked on it, not just the performers, but all the different photographers that are doing it, and videographers and creative directors. It's awesome.
Yeah. We love you, Brooklyn, or New York drag, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's New York. Even though it's really Brooklyn.
It's Brooklyn. Where the cool kids at. Caitlin, you want to take over?
Wait, I have a question. You don't have to keep this in too, though. Miss Cracker was there that
night? No, she
did
she couldn't do that Sunday, so then I went back Monday. the day after, Monday, and we snapped a few pics, and Noah was there to do the video.
I was gonna say I don't remember her, but
No, because she's like very prominently in that shoot, and I was like, I didn't hear about her being there.
yeah.
She's an old friend, so I was just wondering.
Yeah. She's also a Polaroid girl. That's
Is
how
she?
we became friends. I was helping out at one of her shows like upstate, and I had to drive her to the gig, and we just started talking, and she was like, oh yeah, like I saw you take Polaroids. I also like have an old like vintage camera, and we just like went on a spiral about Polaroid, and now we'll like text each other pictures we've taken, and she's an incredible photographer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, she always has like a Polaroid on her. There was one night at Industry, like 2021. It was after some show, and then it was a fundraiser. And then she was doing her pop-up show with Keisha Carr. And I had already shot all of my film, and I was like, fuck me, because I want to take more photos, and Cracker's here and Keisha. And I just was like, ugh. And she was like, oh, I have an extra pack. Like, do you want to use it? And she was like, I mean, like, obviously, please take a photo of me. But and I was like, oh my God, this is great. Someone else here has a pack of Polaroid film. Thank you. And so she gave me the pack, and I shot it.
Polaroids are the drugs of
Yeah.
Oh my God. Back alley deal over here. Listen, some of those like commemorative packs.
Yeah.
Oh my
are
God.
hard to find.
Also not related, but I really want to get the Barbie one. It's very
Oh,
expensive.
Oh.
I wish I had it.
I really want it.
The Tasmanian Devil one. Is that what it's called? Yeah, like
Tunes?
yeah. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, there's that one. I was like, it's really cool because it folds up, and yeah.
Ooh. I think I have like some of the only remaining Keith Haring Polaroid collab.
Don't use it.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
using it. I do have the camera, but and that's what I mostly shoot out of when I take them, but I do have some of like the borders.
oh, yeah.
And yeah, I can't use them.
Not allowed.
Yeah. Anyway, well, maybe for a special day, but probably not. Anyways, let's get back into it. Yeah.
This goes into our next question. It doesn't matter. We can keep
okay.
this.
Okay.
What are the best and worst parts of working with Polaroid film?
My favorite thing is I get to hold a photo, because nowadays, like, if I wasn't shooting Polaroid, I'm like, when do I actually hold a picture? Unless I like bought a print or something. The worst part is now I have all these fucking Polaroids in my apartment and shoe boxes full that need to be organized and all of that. But yeah, I just love taking a photo, and it captures it in that moment. To me, Polaroid is very in the moment. It's kind of, yeah, it's a spur of the moment, captures it, and then you hold it, and it develops within minutes. The worst part is like, you don't really know there are days where I'm like, that's going to be a great photo. And I look at it and I'm like, what the fuck happened? Because it just is so finicky. And you need so much lighting. Anything could go wrong if you're not supposed to shake them. But yeah, I would say best part is like, I now have a memory that I can hold, I can put up in my apartment. And worst part is the organization.
I always get like, because I grew up using Polaroids as a kid, but like, it's really, really hard to like, control the environment for
yeah.
it.
I found like this camera, I mostly shoot on like SX70s. And I have found they give me more control. So this one's from like 1978. It's been refurbished, but this has like a focus that I manually control.
Oh,
the exposure. So that's how I get more. Like, what if I'm at a drag show? I'll have my sonar, which has an automatic feature, so it can automatically focus, because like y'all are dip
Moving.
and dive in and move in. And like if I have to sit there and be like, sorry, just hold and like that makes it much easier. But if I'm just like taking a portrait, I would use this and I could focus on whoever.
I didn't even know it had that. They had that option. That's so
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Well, that's because it's a fancy one, okay?
No, I know, but like I didn't even know like that type of camera existed for Polaroids.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't either. Like the first camera I got was like a 600 from the 80s, 90s, like the big plastic and folds up. And I still have those, but I rarely use them.
Yeah. Fan of the outcome of physical media, but not a fan of doing the physical media because
Yeah.
they're a bitch. But yeah. Do you have some of your favorite photos like you've ever taken?
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of them are like there are a few where I'm like, that's a really good photo. But some of my favorites are the memory associated with it. One, like I'm looking at one, I took one of Laurel Charleston at Bushwig 2021, and I had followed their work for a while on Instagram, and their makeup is insane. And I saw them at Bushwig, took a photo. I didn't know it was them because the whole look is incredible. And then after I took the photo, I was like, oh, like, hi, I'm Ryan. Do you have an Instagram? Like, what's your name? So I can send it to you or tag you. And they're like, oh, I'm Laurel. And I was like, oh, hi. Like, oh my God, I love your work. So that's one of my favorites, but a lot of them are just the memories associated with it of like, there's one of Kiki and Castrata I took that summer when I first started getting into it, and it was like the end of their show, and I knew they were gonna both go into splits because a classic, I could see it in their eyes, and so they both like jumped and went into a split, and they like looked up and they're just beaming and they look so happy, and they're kind of like holding hands, and it just makes me happy. It's like my favorite photo of them, and it was an earlier one that I had taken. Yeah, I mean, I like there are so many that I do love, but I don't know.
I was looking at your recap of last year because
Oh yeah,
like a little. My favorite one from that was the Olivia Lux one.
oh
that photo is incredible. Like
yeah, that one, yeah, she's stunning, and yeah, that one is one of my favorites.
like it really captures her essence, which is like, that's hard to do, especially with the medium user.
Right. Yeah, she just is gorgeous. But yeah, I liked so that was like my second year doing a recap. And it's fun for me just to like look back at all the photos I took that year and see what I like. And again, choosing those is always hard because I'll go because I can only do like 10 on Instagram. But I'll try and like start at 20 and then like work my way down. And some I'm like, this is like an okay photo in my standards or whatever, but it's like I just remember that night because I had so much fun with my friends, and we're like, this was an incredible performance, and that's why it's now like one of my favorites. But the photo itself is like yeah.
We have a lot of photos like that.
Yeah. Okay. So you started taking photos of nature walks, I'm assuming, kind of. You went from plant lives, drag queens. Tell us about the shoots. The other shoots. Tell us about the other shoots, Ryan.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Yes.
I didn't know you were gonna transition right here. I thought I was gonna ask
that. Yes, that is also another aspect of the rude Polaroid, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, I think it kind of started and like when I was still home and I was doing some self-portraits because I was tired of nature. And one thing in general with me with Polaroid is I like shooting people. Oh, don't take that out of context.
That's the clip
You're
we're
not
using.
you're not a
About.
peeping Tom.
And I just got canceled. So finally. No, there's like
Okay.
I follow all of these Polaroid photographers that are incredible and they take like these gorgeous nature shots, but then I take a photo of something in nature and I'm like, that's just a fucking rock. Like, I don't know how these people make it look so magical and cool. And I think I was like meant to photograph people, but and like capture their energy. So I started getting more into self-portraits and like I would just drive. So I had so much time. I would go to like Michael's and buy like a backdrop or like fun props, like peacock feathers or whatever. And I just started like using the self timer and kind of moving myself around, seeing what I could get. And it also was a way to kind of explore like my sexuality and so I started doing like some nude shoots of just even myself and just seeing like what that did. And it kind of, I gained confidence in myself and my body and like how I could capture it. And, or just like, I was like, oh, is this what the camera sees? I don't know. And then, you know, like once I was doing nightlife, it was also a way to meet people. And the good thing about Polaroid is like, everyone does know what a Polaroid is, no matter what. You see that square and people go, that's Polaroid. And I found like, because I gained a lot of confidence in taking like nudes that a lot of like queer people, I mean, who hasn't taken a nude these days, but it's like, that's on your phone. And this, again, you can hold and like, you can keep it, you could show whoever, or you could show no one, and it could stay like in your sock drawer. And talking to a lot of older gay men and queer people, a lot of them still have Polaroids they took of themselves or with like a lover or a partner. And what was interesting, what I started to learn was Polaroid has always been very queer, because if you back in earlier days, if you brought film to go get developed, and if there was an intimate moment on that or a kiss or whatever it may be, they like, you may never see it, or they could destroy it, or you could be outed. But a Polaroid, it develops right in front of you and no one else will see it other than the people you want to show. So it was a way for queer people to kind of express themselves or see these like intimate moments that we see so many like straight people kissing in TV and movies and photos, that this was like special for them. So when I started like fully understanding that, I was like, that's so true. And once I did an art fair the summer of 21, and it was like a queer erotic art show, and a lot of the artists involved in it I knew just from like New York. A lot of them are painters, drawers, and some photographers. And the guy reached out because he had seen like some of my work and was like, would you be interested in like showing your Polaroids? They'd have to be for sale. And I was like, I've never done that, but sure. And so I went through like what I had most, self-portraits. And that was just like being at the art show and talking with all of those people that would come up, and they were like, wow, this is so cool that like a lot of people are impressed that Polaroid is like back. And they're like, so do you take photos of other people? And I was like, yeah, like people have reached out to me at this point, because my favorite is, I feel like I'm going all over the place, so apologies if none of this makes sense. I found like some people will message me and say like, oh, like it's my boyfriend's birthday coming up. Like I want to like give him like a nice nude of myself, or not even nude, but like sexy picture. That's like not just I took on my like phone. And I was like, oh my God, let's do it. Like if you have like a pair of underwear you want, or accessories or whatever, like if you have any ideas or references, like send them my way. Otherwise, like I'm very go with the flow. And I usually prefer to shoot people like in their own environment, because everyone's like most comfortable in their own home. But I'm happy to do it like at my apartment, or I'll rent a studio, like whatever the person wants. And I usually take like in a shoot, like I'll usually take like the first 30 minutes to just kind of like chill and talk, because I want to get to know you, because that then helps me take the photo and kind of capture your energy and what you want out of this. And it was just, it's become a great way for me to make money off of photography, because it's hard with like nightlife is, yes, hit or miss. But I found it was a way also the connecting with people. Like I've met so many people now through these private shoots that they have never felt like comfortable in front of a camera, or they don't. It's kind of awkward to start, but then they see the photos after and they're like, oh my God, like, thank you so much. This is crazy. Like I have never done this before, or I wanted to express myself in this way and you captured it, and now I can have this forever and frame it or not, like put it in my sock drawer. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and that also I have found like taking these photos, I've tried to capture like, yes, there's like the very erotic, like porn pretty much. And then there's the stuff that's more suggestive, and it could just be like I'm shooting a couple that maybe they are in the middle of having sex or whatnot, but it's a moment where their hands are just locked and against like each other's chest, or like a graze of the neck or cheek. And looking at the photo, it tells a whole story that yes, like they were fucking, but you can't fully get that in the, like, you can piece it all together, but it's not like it's not porn.
It sounds like, it reminds me of more of like, classic art than it does,
Yeah.
like smut film, I guess.
Right. And yeah, I don't know. I love it.
So I guess you got started with that, like getting approached initially. Well, you said,
yeah, like I mean, it started first with like friends that I knew would be comfortable, and I just sort of expressed interest of like, or honestly, like even like hookups.
That makes sense.
What?
Yeah, like I had my camera, so I was like, do you mind like if I could just take a Polaroid like in this moment or in whatever is happening? And most of the time they're like, oh my God, yeah, like sure. Because it wasn't even like that I wanted to share it with the world. I just wanted to like capture this moment, and I'm fucking addicted to Polaroids. So I don't know, like but yeah, it started with like people that I had a relationship with, and kind of went from there. Or I feel like word of mouth spread and people started finding out about it, that then people would reach out, and I was like, yeah, that's me, like I'll do it. And yeah, it like also with nightlife kind of ties into it, because a lot of like queer nightlife there is sex involved and bodies, and it could naked or not. And now I've kind of shot like certain nightlife parties that may have like sex involved in it, but it was in that way of like, once word of mouth got out, it was then easier to book and do that. And so sometimes I'll have ideas of like, oh, I really want to capture kind of like this, or I have an image in my mind that I want to capture. And I could ask like 2 models to do it, but I find like my favorite, honestly, is shooting a couple, because I'm like, you guys are familiar with each other, you know each other, your likes, dislikes, everything, and I'm just kind of like in the corner. Like, and that makes it much easier, and I find it more natural.
It's interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a new perspective, because it's like we don't get to talk to a lot of photographers on the show, so I like hearing like a different,
I think you're a second. Yeah, you're a second.
You're a second. Yeah.
First.
On top of photography, you have also hosted and produced different nightlife events. What has that been like?
That's been really fun. I've always kind of like growing up and college, everything, I've always been a planner. And so I like planning events and producing things. Like when my sister got engaged, I was like a sophomore in high school. And like she told my mom and I she got engaged. And immediately my mom and I are like, okay, so what colors do you want to go with? Like, where are we having it? What's like, and she was like, I just got engaged, like chill. And in college, like I did like the whole class like showcase and planning like our New York acting showcase, all of that. And that's always fun to me and it keeps me busy. So kind of transitioning into nightlife, I've only done a few like produced the events, which is great. Yeah, and it's just like I have some ideas for certain parties and it's like I feel like people would be interested in this, and luckily most like the times I've done it that people are, and it's been a good turnout. But hosting is also fun because to me it's like I would have supported this party anyways, but now I can be like a small little piece and take a few photos, and it's I love it. It's great. It was something that I didn't like even when I first got into the nightlife scene, I didn't really know was a job or like what people did. It just was like, no, I got a ticket to the party. I didn't know people like planned it. Like
It's a bitch and a half, let me tell you.
yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's a lot of work on your own and supporting yourself. And there are some venues that help and some venues that don't.
Yep.
No comment.
Yeah. But I love it. It's cool. And so I want to start to produce more events. It's just if I didn't have a day job, it would be much easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope to do more.
I don't know how you do all that you do already. Like,
Yeah,
when do you sleep?
Yeah.
truly. Yeah.
So the last question for our little section here is, do you have any dream subject that you would want to capture on film? Like a person, a personality, celebrity, anything like that.
Yes. I mean, obviously, like would love to get Rue, which that would be awesome. But I don't know if it's more like I guess it's a subject. My dream, if I could, is if I could just support myself through photography, or if I had a remote day job, I would love to apartment swap with like people just around the country, and then eventually around the world. But I want to go to every city and find what that queer scene is. And I want to capture like a Wednesday night in Portland or Chicago, or a Saturday night in like New Orleans, and just to see what that's like and really document like the queer scene currently in 2023 in like whatever city I'm in. That would be a dream.
And on that note, we're gonna take our last little break. And we'll be right back, kids, with our usual wrap-up shit. Bye.
Bye.
Wig, okay. I know, wig. I feel that already. Wig, okay. Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I am ready for my wig to go flying.
And we're back.
We're back.
Whew. We usually have a different question here, so
I mean, I can't ask that question. You don't
Right.
do drag.
yeah. Ryan, do you ever want to be on Drag Race or Dragula?
Can you imagine?
Listen, I think like Drag Race Italy had like that one person that was like barely in makeup, and
Really?
they were like pretty like
I haven't
done
kept
drag,
up
but not like not in New York.
with.
what was your drag name? Are we learning secrets right now?
Well, I had to my college, my
Mhm.
first saw like freshman year you couldn't be cast. Sophomore year, the first show we did, I got cast like as a drag queen. But it was in the show called Anonymous, and the character is a woman, but then the director was like, no, you'll be a drag queen. And I was like, what? Okay. There was really no reason. But yeah, I
Hey.
imagine that. Yeah. And then college, senior year, like fundraising for our senior showcase. In junior year, I planned like a lip sync for your life event, just like for fun. And then senior year, we did it so that we could raise money. And so all the seniors got into drag, and I was like Rue, like the head judge, and anyone that wanted to perform could perform, and then it was like a showdown, and the audience voted.
That's cute.
It was fun, cute little, and now it keeps going. I started a tradish. I was like,
Oh,
all right.
good.
But
That
yeah, those
planning.
are the only times.
I'm sure if you stay in Brooklyn long enough.
There is, I do want it's more to recreate a photo. There's a photo of my uncle, of a Polaroid of him in this like leather jacket, black dress, soft mug, like blonde kind of Marilyn Monroe hair, and he's like on a motorcycle, and I really want to recreate it, but me.
Yes.
Please.
So
Good.
I'm like that. I'm not gonna do the makeup. I'm gonna need a drag queen to do it for me. Yeah.
That'd be cute.
That would be.
You can exchange the photo shoots.
Yeah.
There you go. So earlier in the podcast, you mentioned you bring your little point and shoot. Have you thought of any other types of like photography mediums, like either videography, what have you? What are you thinking?
Yeah. So what I started on was like digital, and I still have it. I have like a Canon Rebel T3i was my first like bigger camera, I think, and I got it in high school. It's in my closet. I truly have not touched it since like junior year of college. And I've been like kind of itching to get back into it, or just like to see what I could capture. Something like Polaroid, at least, like when I go out, I know that I have a certain amount of shots. And so it does kind of hinder me in a way, but also there are nights where I used to go out with like so much film just because I was like, I don't want to miss a moment. Because there have been those times where I like have run out of film, and then something happens, or like I walk by a cool street sign and I'm like, fuck, I don't have fucking film. But I also like going and knowing, oh, I have one pack of film for the night, and that's going to capture my evening. And if I take them all in the first hour, so be it. And if I have none left for later, that's it. And that's like how I saw the night. But my friends live nearby me, and they're big photographers as well. And they have a bunch of different like film cameras. And so I have my tiny little point and shoot, and it's fun and easy, but I want to learn more about 35 millimeter and like medium format and that. But yeah, I have been trying to like collage and use these Polaroids that are just taking up space at this point to kind of like, I have gotten to the point where I'm okay with destroying some to like make something new. Not like
Oh, like cutting it up. Okay.
but like cutting them, or do you know what emulsion lifts are?
Yes.
I like really I'm starting to learn about it and do it. It's when you take like a Polaroid, and I would cut like the white border off so that it's just the photo, and then you peel back like the film and you put it in water, and you use like a paintbrush, and you kind of pretty much like take the photo off, and then you can put it onto something else. So I've seen like these incredible photos, then they cut it up, take it, and then they put it on like a piece of wood, or like just something else. And I want to do that.
That's cool. You
Yeah.
definitely have plenty of like things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I would start with all these like my shit photos that like didn't come out or whatever, so that I can just practice on those.
Exactly.
That'd be cool. I'm here for it.
I believe it's my favorite question. It's the one you've been dreading. Ryan, Our rude boy Polaroid. Can you give us a tantalizing tale of nightlife debauchery, something crazy that you've seen or witnessed or heard about or maybe even partook in? What do you got for us?
Um, yeah, I recently shot a leather and lace party back in February, and it's called No Limits. Dean Dante and Audrey Phoenix are the ones that produce it and run Leather and Lace. They kind of throw them all over like Astoria. Now they've this one was at Red Eye in Manhattan in Midtown. So I didn't really know like what I was getting into. They were like, it is a kink friendly party. Like we want you to take Polaroids and take photos. Like during the party, there it's no limits. The theme was like, I think underwear, like yeah, no, like there are no limits. Wear whatever you want. If you want to wear like everything, go for it. If you want to wear nothing, great. Um, and so I was like, okay, I'm walking into this. How is this gonna work? Like, I don't know what's happening. And then there was like Audrey was set to perform at like midnight, and Cheeky Regina was as well. And then there was also a like demonstration, and I was like, demonstration, okay. Um, so I was walking around taking some photos, but within like truly minutes of me getting there, like it is full on sex party. And so it's like this weird, uncomfortable, me being uncomfortable, not like the party, but I'm like, I know I take nudes, but like when someone is like literally sucking someone's dick, I don't want to be like, hey, can I just take like keep doing what you're doing? Can I just take a photo real quick? Like, but like don't let me get in the way. And also the best part I think for me was once it was like full on crowded and the drag performances happened. And then there was the demonstration, which his name or his handle is Wood Expound, and he is into bondage, and he tied someone up, but also like was like what do you say probing and using different toys and metal objects, and then he fucked them. And I'm like shooting all of this, but also like literally just I'm fully clothed, but like everyone around me is naked and fucking. And then the best part was like me trying to step over and in between while all of these people around me are kissing, sucking, fucking, touching, everything, but also like dancing, having a good time. And I'm like, I see Audrey at the other end of the bar and I need to get to her to like, I was going to get a drink, but I'm like, just like trying not to be in the way, but also people are like swaying and moving. It was definitely a night I'll remember. And I told like them, like I got a lot of Polaroids, but I was like, I don't think you need, like, I shouldn't be telling you this as a photographer, but I don't think you need a photographer because people just want to fuck. Like, and
Yeah.
I am kind of harsh in the vibe right now with like being like, excuse me. Like, it was definitely interesting.
Oh Lord.
But
Okay.
now
It yeah.
I'm doing one. There's one this Friday, or it's a No Limits that's at Rock Bar, but instead of like me walking around the party, I'm having like a little photo booth, and the theme is, but they wanted like a foot fetish Polaroid booth. So I guess I'll just be taking pictures of people's feet.
Wiki feet right here.
I mean, and they get to keep the Polaroid. So I'm like, slay.
I feel like that's a good like, use
Yeah,
of what you can bring.
right. Yeah. Like, again, this is part of queer nightlife. I'm like, I'll do it. I don't care. It's fun. It's new.
I feel like it would be hard to get consent for that party, like taking
That's what I
photos.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
and then it just got to a point where I was like, he's has his mouth full. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Honestly, my least favorite thing to photograph until I started doing the one at the Rosemont. I like a year ago, I photographed my first like comedy show, and I told myself I would never again because it was at Stonewall, and like I'm there, side of the stage. A few comics are going up, like great, funny. I took a few photos, and then there were just like some comics that went up, and I was like, okay, they're like getting ready for the joke. I'm like waiting to take the photo, and like setting up for the punchline, and they say the punchline, and I click the button, but no one laughs. So my flash goes off, and then the worst thing about a Polaroid is it makes fucking noise. So then it's like no one laughs, and then all you hear is chick. And everyone is looking at me, and I'm like, I am never shooting a comedy show again. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I was like, oh no, 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 no.
It's so like I guess it adds to the
That's what I was like. I need the jokes beforehand. I need to know people are gonna laugh. Like,
no, yeah, it's a tough crowd.
Oh Lord.
yeah.
You were the comedy show.
Yeah, you
I was the clown.
honk. Sorry. Oh my
Uh,
God. Oh my God. Okay. Caitlin, take it away.
Okay. So I feel like you're kind of coming full circle because you have an upcoming Provincetown gallery exhibit.
yes. End of August, through Labor Day, and it's also it works out perfectly because it opens Friday, August 25th. But the day before that is the Townie Drag Brunch. So I get to be there, I get to take photos again, and then I'll be setting up the gallery for the next day. Yeah, it just like I still can't really believe it. I've done a few exhibits, and have like photos, have had some of my photos in certain exhibits or shared exhibits in galleries. But this is my first of like, it's fully gonna be me. And part of me is like, fuck, but also like, fuck. I'm still figuring out like what I'm gonna put up, and kind of what like the whole theme is, because this will be my first time kind of showcasing like what I'm doing, and P-Town is like a home away from home, and I love it so much that I'm very excited.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what theme, but you're still deciding.
I have some ideas, and I have to decide, like I need a final decision with the photos by like July. So I still have
Oh, you got a while. Yeah, you're fine.
And I don't know. I want to showcase kind of everything we've talked about today of like queer nightlife, but also like what I do on the side of private shoots and queer intimacy and in that nature of, so I'm like trying to figure out how they kind of connect. And I think the biggest thing for me is like community, and how I've found like we are all a part of the LGBTQ community, but there's all the little communities within that make up this big community. And me, like even like me doing a foot fetish photo booth, like personally I've never done that, and I'm not big into feet, not to yuck anyone's yum, but I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking do that. That's great. Like, let's try it and see what I get. So I'm like trying to connect all of them, but really showcase a little bit of everything if I can.
I like it.
Are you doing another show in like Paris or something? Did I make that up?
Yes. Well, I found out it's not Paris, but it's south of France. He is from Paris, so I immediately was like, oh my God, Paris. And then I looked up the gallery and I was like, Ryan. Like that, me in my head, I was like, France, that means Paris. Like
There's no other city.
There's no, it's just France is just Paris.
Yeah, this artist reached out to me on Instagram, and he just like saw my work on Insta, and he is doing an exhibit at this gallery where his work is being showcased, excuse me, and then he wants me to be the other artist, and it's about masculinity, and he saw my Polaroids and he wants to feature some drag and some like more eroticism and kind of the spectrum of masculinity. And that's June to July. But I'm like, I'm not gonna be there.
Okay, but
Boo.
two gallery shows in a year. That's pretty good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I want one in New York. That's my next.
Mm.
There you go. There
There's
you go.
plenty of galleries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next journey.
I also see we're seeing a coffee table book in the near future.
Yes. Kind of like I am inspired by Linda Simpson and everything she's done and kind of made with her book. But yeah, it's I say future, I don't know how near future it will be because I like have compiled so much that then I'm like, oh, do I make it now or do I wait like 10 years or 5 years and keep going and doing what I'm doing? Or maybe there's additions. Like,
I was gonna say you could just do like
Yeah.
certain periods of time.
Yeah, I was gonna say years, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, right?
You
Do
sound
one a year.
yeah.
Your yearbook.
Oh God,
yearbook.
oh God, it's cute.
I mean, I'm sure you take enough photos for that.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice, or what's the best advice you've received about photography?
Ooh. Oh, that's good. I think for me is like just trust yourself, because if you like, I found when I was really starting out, or for the first like year or so, even with nightlife, I was so hard on myself of like, the picture has to be perfect. And I guess with Polaroid, this gets more niche, but no Polaroid is perfect. Like, it's kind of an imperfect quality in film. It's not amazing. Like, but in the moments that I just was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna take the photo and not fucking think about it, those are the photos that are really good. And the photos that I was overthinking and putting too much thought into it of like, okay, is it in the right position? I didn't capture the energy in the moment that I was trying to go for. So I think if you just trust yourself and press the fucking button, like just press it.
Martyr.
Fuck
But
off.
yeah, like that in many ways, like press the button on whatever you want to do.
You're right.
Hey, no,
Martyr.
I'm gonna fight this bitch. I swear.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
Martyr is notorious for, setting up shots for a very long time.
Oh, I'm a monster. That's
Yeah.
why I don't shoot other people.
Yeah, no, there's a reason. There's
Yeah,
a real
no, I
reason.
totally.
Yeah. I'll tell you when we're done recording.
Do you have any other future projects to promote? I know we kind of covered them here.
I know I don't. I'm like, do I? Not that I know of.
That's okay.
Yeah, I want to produce more events. The one event I saw on my phone, which I feel like it's a running joke on Twitter of like this community of horny like Brooklyn photographers, and there's just a lot of them where I'm like, I just want to do a show of like, are you the next horny Brooklyn photographer? And have like Sherry Poppins be a judge, like
Martyr would participate.
right? Like, and
I'm the Simon Cowell to Sherry
Yeah.
Poppins, Randy
like a
Jackson.
little, a little competition, like fun. Like, it's not a really big deal, but there'll be a little
Yeah.
prize. But like, I think it'd be cute.
That would be cute. Oh, yeah. Yes, I've seen the horny Brooklyn photographers talk.
Proud to be part of the community.
I'm a child of God. I don't partake.
A lot of people don't know that God actually was a horny Brooklyn photographer. First, some would say.
I'm logging off. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Our penultimate question or ultimate question. I don't know.
Oh, it's the last one.
That's the last one. Where do you want to take your photography in the future? You've given us a good idea, but what's the ultimate stamp?
I want, I mean, like the world, but one, maybe it's a weird answer, but like I want to take it to more straight people
Work.
in a way of like, I had a really good conversation with my mom a few months ago. Because she doesn't like, my parents don't really have social media and they only see photos like if I text it to them or like I show them in person. But I think she like found my Instagram through one of her friends and saw some pics that she was like, Ryan, of just like out and about in nightlife. And it was Insta, so like they were appropriate in a way, but she didn't like some of the words, cum dump. So I got a text at like 8 in the morning and all of these words of like, really, Ryan, what are you taking photos of? What is this? And I had this like amazing conversation with her because at first I was like, oh my God, do I apologize? Or like, and I was like, no, I like support all of those photos I took, and some of them are really good and some of them I've sold. Like I stand by all of those. And so I said that, and she was like, I respect that you stand by it, but like, I'm your mother. I don't like, I can have an opinion. I don't like that. And I'm like, sure, but you're not my audience. Like, I'm not taking them for you. And that, it took her a second, but she was like, oh, you're so right. Like, that is just, yeah, I'm not your audience. Like, of course, like you could take photos of flowers and pretty buildings or whatever. And yeah, that's what I want to hang up in my home. But like, for queer people, they want to see queer shit. And I was like, yes. And so she had a conversation then with her friends because her friend was like, I want to support Ryan. And I was on his website to like look for a print, but like there's not much for me. And she was like, well, Connie, like we're not his audience. And so that whole we're not his audience, I'm like, I want to be your audience. Why can't you see two men holding hands or two women kissing, and why can't that also move you in a way? Does that make any sense?
No, it totally
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's like it's like a more like bigger struggle, especially with everything going on politically.
And so if you walk into a gallery or you walk into someone's home and you see like a drag queen on the wall, and then you see, yeah, maybe like someone like choke, like I don't know, like something like that where it is more intimate moments of queer culture, and that's like in a home. Why can't it be? Like we don't have to be hidden in the bathrooms, and that's where like the queer art goes. Like we can be in a living room, we can be in a bedroom, we can be anywhere,
But not in the closet.
fair.
Okay.
And that note,
all right. All right, time to end the podcast.
and on that note, thank you so much for coming on our show. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you.
Thank y'all. No, this was so fun.
Where can the kids find you on social media?
At Rude Polaroids, Insta, Twitter. If you find the other Twitter, good on you. Talk to literally any drag queen, they've found it. So, and they'll tell me they found it. So,
and on that note, I was Martyr.
I was Tepper.
And this is Wigging Out.
I'm C. Tepper. You can follow me on Instagram at CTEPPER and read my book, The State of Drag, where I interviewed 175 drag queens from around the world. All proceeds go to charity on Amazon.com.
Ooh, I love that. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Drag the Martyr. And if you have any thoughts, comments, dick pics, send them to dragthemartyr@gmail.com.
Listen, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Pandora.
And catch up with past episodes on WERRRK.com. That's WERRRK.com. Artwork for Wigging Out was provided by Glitter Baby Online. That's Glitter Baby Online. Thank you.